In this narration, we first take a look at how China is talking to itself about the next generation of batteries. What you are about to hear comes from inside China's own expert and industrial circles. These are professional discussions among researchers, policy leaders, and companies who are deeply involved in solid-state battery research and development. By listening in, you can get a sense of how Chinese voices describe their own progress, their challenges, and their expectations. They may be cautious at times and ambitious at others, but throughout, you can feel a strong mix of entrepreneurial drive, scientific curiosity, and engineering capability. Whatever one's position, China remains a formidable and fast-moving competitor in this field. Solid-state batteries themselves represent a potential milestone in how human beings use electrical energy. To put it in very simple terms, think of a typical electric car today, such as a standard Tesla, with a real-world range of roughly 400 kilometers on a single charge. With a mature generation of solid-state batteries, that range could extend to more than 1,000 kilometers, while safety performance could improve dramatically compared with today's liquid electrolyte lithium-ion cells. So if the technology truly breaks through to mass production, it would not just be an incremental upgrade, but a step change in performance and safety. There is another important angle as well. In the global market for complete vehicles, Chinese brands and Chinese manufacturing have already claimed a commanding position in many segments. That means that even if laboratories in Japan, Korea, or other countries achieve leading-edge breakthroughs in solid-state chemistry, the path from lab to large-scale industrialization and cost-effective mass production may still depend heavily on where the vehicle platforms, the supply chains, and the pricing power are concentrated. Increasingly, that center of gravity sits in China. So as you listen to the following combined narration, treat it as one revealing slice of how China debates and competes around a specific new technology. It is not the whole picture, but it offers a candid view of the tempo, the confidence, and the caution inside this rapidly evolving ecosystem. Dated November 11 and November 13 of 2025, this combined narration brings together two influential perspectives from China on the progress and challenges of all solid-state batteries. In recent days, the industry has once again turned its attention towards solid-state batteries, as several companies have released new progress updates. This renewed wave of announcements has raised questions about what has truly advanced, how the competing technical routes are evolving, where key obstacles remain, and whether commercial adoption might arrive earlier than many expect. The momentum became especially visible on October 31st, when Samsung SDI announced a three-party agreement with BMW and Solid Power. Under this collaboration, Solid Power will supply solid electrolytes, Samsung SDI will use them to manufacture all solid-state batteries, and BMW will develop the modules and battery packs. Across China, even more companies have revealed new developments. On October 18, Chery showcased its self-developed Rhino S all-solid-state battery module during the Global Innovation Conference. This cell reaches an energy density of 600 watt-hours per kilogram, far above mainstream lithium-ion technologies, and may enable vehicles to reach 12 to 1,300 kilometers of range. Chery plans to begin its first vehicle-level validation in 2027. On October 20, NJ announced that its high-purity lithium sulfide for solid-state batteries had completed pilot-scale ton-level capacity, while its 10-ton solid electrolyte powdered production line had already begun operation. And on October 23rd, Sunwoda presented its new polymer solid-state battery, known as Bishal, with an energy density of 400 watt-hours per kilogram. A pilot line is expected by the end of 2025. Internationally, Toyota and Sumitomo Metal Mining signed a joint development agreement in early October, focusing on mass production technologies for all solid-state cathode materials. Toyota continues to set the industry benchmark, aiming to launch its first all-solid-state EVs in 2027 or 2028, and beginning construction of a 9 to 10 gigawatt-hour solid-state battery plant in 2026. These developments show that car makers, battery producers, and upstream material suppliers are all accelerating their efforts. Pilot production and early manufacturing preparations are steadily taking shape. At the technical level, the industry primarily explores three routes: polymer-based, oxide-based, and sulfide-based solid electrolytes. Each comes with clear advantages and equally clear drawbacks. Polymer systems are flexible and safe, but suffer from low room temperature ionic conductivity. Oxides are stable but hard and difficult to process. Sulfides offer high conductivity and strong interfacial contact, yet they are extremely sensitive to moisture and oxygen, and their mechanical weakness leads to interface degradation during cycling. Moreover, the cost of high-purity lithium sulfide remains extraordinarily high, at several million yuan per ton. Across these approaches, the central challenge is finding the right balance between ionic conductivity, stability, interfacial compatibility, manufacturability, and cost. It is no surprise that more than 20 global leaders, including Toyota, CATL, and Hive Energy, are racing to advance the sulfide route. The bottlenecks for sulfide systems cluster around three core issues. First, their extreme sensitivity to ambient moisture and oxygen demands costly inert atmosphere production facilities, which drive up both capital and operational costs. Second, at the electrode-electrolyte interface, sulfides can undergo severe chemical reactions, producing resistive layers that impair cycling performance. Third, the upstream material itself, lithium sulfide, remains expensive due to complex, high-energy synthesis requirements. To address these problems, companies are building inert gas production environments, developing coating and doping strategies for materials, adding protective layers at interfaces, and exploring elastic interlayers that can maintain good contact as electrodes expand and contract. Structural design and constant external pressure also play important roles in sustaining interfacial stability. Against this backdrop of rapid announcements and intense industry enthusiasm, another important voice emerged on November 12th at the World Power Battery Conference. Wan Gang, former Minister of Science and Technology and a long-respected leader in China's automotive and energy innovation fields, offered a sober and authoritative assessment. He summarized the current situation by noting that hybrid solid-liquid batteries are beginning small-scale vehicle integration, but still face challenges in cost, cycle life, and environmental adaptability. As for all solid-state batteries, he emphasized that the entire field remains in the research and pilot-scale stages, and that key scientific and engineering problems must continue to be tackled before industrialization becomes realistic. His message made clear that mass production is still far away, and that the industry must temper over-optimism. His remarks arrived at a moment when many companies had begun openly discussing aggressive timelines. For example, Sunwoda's polymer solid-state battery roadmap targets pilot production by 2025, a first-generation product in 2026, and a second generation in 2027. Eve Energy, meanwhile, unveiled its solid-state battery line in Chengdu and plans to reach 100 megawatt-hours of capacity by late 2026. Goshen High-Tech, which introduced its all-solid-state battery earlier, has set 2027 for small-batch production and vehicle testing and expects large-scale mass production around 2030. Other companies, including Ganfeng Lithium and BYD, have also drawn up their own timelines, further fueling the impression that commercialization is imminent. However, Wan Gang's perspective served as a reminder that, despite such announcements, the industry still faces steep technical and engineering barriers. His comments echoed earlier warnings from Seng Yuqun, the chairman of CATL, who explained that even globally leading research teams have reached a middle level of technological maturity. Making stable samples is achievable, but scaling them into reliable, high-yield mass production is another challenge entirely. Industry experts continue to point out that ionic conduction mechanisms, manufacturing complexity, and safety controls remain major unresolved issues. Opiang Minggao, a member of the Chinese Academy of Sciences, has stressed that all solid-state batteries must still overcome three major hurdles: interface stability, material behavior, and cost. He predicts that industrialization will begin only around 2027 or 2028. Even leaders who are more optimistic about solid-state technology acknowledge that lithium-ion batteries will remain the dominant technology for at least the next decade. Analysts note that 2027 may bring only small-scale pilot production rather than true mass adoption. A period in which high-end all-solid-state batteries coexist with mainstream semi-solid solutions is likely, lasting anywhere from 2 to 10 years. Taken together, these perspectives, one describing fast-moving progress and the other calling for measured caution, reflect a broader truth. Solid-state batteries represent an extraordinary technological frontier. Their value lies not only in when they will reach mass production, but also in how they push the industry to rethink the boundaries and possibilities of electrochemical energy storage. From bold industry ambition to authoritative scientific restraint, these voices from China form a complete and realistic picture. The race is accelerating, the challenges remain immense, and the path forward requires both innovation and patience.